Yesterday, we interviewed Union Road and Transport Minister Mr. Nitin Gadkari. The interview lasted about 30 minutes, and for all those 30 minutes, there was just one subject: ethanol and E20 blended petrol. And the questions were only those that you have been asking and seeking an answer to over the last few days. And your questions were: does E20 reduce mileage? Can it damage older vehicles? Who is responsible if a vehicle develops a problem? Why was the E20 rollout accelerated? If ethanol blending saves money, why has petrol not become cheaper? What about the ARAI report being discussed online? And perhaps the most practical question of all, if a consumer genuinely believes that E20 has affected their vehicle, where should they go? These were not abstract policy questions. They were questions people have been asking repeatedly on social media. And perhaps that explains why the interview immediately became a major talking point across the country. Within 24 hours of this interview, it has gone viral on every platform, be it Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. The views have gone into millions. Individual clips, the smaller ones, have traveled even further. People are sharing this on WhatsApp. But beyond the virality, what did the interview actually tell us? Let us break that down. First, can E20 affect mileage? This was the very first question. Minister Nitin Gadkari explained that petrol and ethanol do not have the same calorific value, which simply means they do not contain the same amount of energy. He acknowledged the fact that because ethanol has a lower calorific value, there can be a difference in mileage under certain driving conditions. But he also argued that mileage cannot be judged in isolation. City driving is different from highway driving. Vehicle technology differs. Driving patterns differ. Mechanical conditions also differ. So the first takeaway is simple. The mileage question is not imaginary, but every drop in mileage cannot automatically be blamed on E20 either. A proper diagnosis still matters.
इथेनॉल के कैलोरिक वैल्यू और पेट्रोल के कैलोरिक वैल्यू में फर्क है। हर फ्यूल के कैलोरिक वैल्यू अलग अलग होती है।
ठीक है।
पर जब हम लोग शहर के अंदर घूमते हैं तो गियर बदलते रहते हैं। तो गियर जब बदलते रहते हैं, हाँ, तो शहर के अंदर में इथेनॉल और पेट्रोल डालकर जो आता है, हाँ, उसका एवरेज लगभग सेम आता है। पर जैसे हम एक हाईवे से 100 किलोमीटर दौड़ रहे हैं, तो उसमें जब ये करेंगे तो उसमें एवरेज में थोड़ी कमी आती है।
Second, what should you do if your vehicle develops a problem? This may have been the most useful part of the entire interview. The minister said that the consumers who believe their vehicle have developed a problem should first go to an authorized dealer, register the complaint officially, get the vehicle technically inspected, and create a document record of what the problem actually is. He also said that a registered complaint should be brought to the attention of his ministry for examination, and that vehicles under warranty should be dealt with under the applicable manufacturer and warranty framework. The distinction is important. A social media complaint and a technically established fault are not necessarily the same thing. But the other side of the equation is equally important. Consumers need a complaint system that is visible, simple, and easy to understand and use. And this interview has now made that process part of a national conversation.
जिनको प्रॉब्लम आता है, पहले आप उस कंपनी के डीलर के पास जाके आपकी कंप्लेंट रजिस्टर करो। ठीक है। और रजिस्टर कंप्लेंट तुरंत, हाँ, मेरे मिनिस्ट्री के वेबसाइट पर मुझे ईमेल कर दो।
Third, why is the government pushing ethanol at all? The minister repeatedly gave three broad reasons: reducing dependence on imported crude oil, reducing pollution, and creating a larger domestic market that can benefit farmers and the rural economy. The government's argument is that India spends enormous amounts of money importing petroleum, and replacing even a part of that requirement with domestically produced alternatives can improve energy security and keep more money within the Indian economy. So from the government's perspective, E20 is not simply a new formula at the petrol pump. It is connected to energy security, pollution, and agriculture. But the consumer's question is equally straightforward. A policy may benefit the country, but what does it mean for my own car? That is where the national objective meets the everyday experience of the consumer.
इस देश में 22 लाख करोड़ का पेट्रोल डीजल का इंपोर्ट होता है। हाँ, उसमें 40% एयर पोल्यूशन ये पेट्रोलियम फ्यूल के कारण होता है। हाँ, दिल्ली में आम लोगों के स्वास्थ्य में बहुत बड़ा परिणाम हुआ है। तीसरी बात, ये 22 लाख करोड़ देश के बाहर जाते हैं,
हाँ,
ये देश के किसानों के पास जाए। केवल सरकार ने एक निर्णय किया कि मक्के से इथेनॉल बनाने का, तो 1200 रुपए क्विंटल मक्के का भाव जो मार्केट प्राइस थी, कमर्शियल प्राइस, और एमएसपी 1800 रुपए क्विंटल थी, वो भाव 2600 रुपए और 28 रुपए क्विंटल हुआ।
Fourth, not every ethanol question belongs to the Transport Ministry. The interview also clarified something that is often lost in the public debate. People direct almost every question on ethanol to Nitin Gadkari, but the fuel pricing, the commercial framework of the blending, and several aspects of fuel policy fall under the Petroleum Ministry and not under the Transport Ministry. The Transport Ministry has responsibilities relating to vehicles, engines, and technical standards. So a question like, is my vehicle compatible with E20, involves vehicle standards and manufacturers, but a question like, if ethanol blending saves money, why has petrol not become cheaper, cannot be answered by the Transport Ministry alone. E20 is not one ministry policy. It involves multiple ministries, oil companies, automobile manufacturers, and regulators.
इस देश के किसानों के जेब में एडिशनल 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए पहुंचे ये इथेनॉल के कारण।
ठीक है।
दूसरी बात है, मैं इथेनॉल की बात करता हूँ, मैं मिथेनॉल की बात करता हूँ, मैं हाइड्रोजन की कार की बात करता हूँ, मैं इलेक्ट्रिक की सब गाड़ी लॉन्च मैंने की, अल्टरनेटिव फ्यूल और बायोफ्यूल की बात करता हूँ। मेरा मंत्रालय इंजन के जो मशीन्स है उसके स्टैंडर्ड्स तय करता है, उसके स्पेयर पार्ट्स के, और जो है उसको मान्यता देता है स्टैंडर्ड्स को। फ्यूल को क्या करना, कितना ऐड करना, नहीं करना, ये पेट्रोलियम मिनिस्ट्री का सवाल है।
Fifth, the biggest gap may be communication. One of the final questions in the interview was very simple. Did ordinary consumer fully understand when E20 became part of the fuel they were buying? There were notifications, there was news coverage, but did the message reach every vehicle owner with enough clarity? That is where much of the current confusion appears to come from. On one side, the government sees E20 as an important national transition. On the other, many consumers are asking very personal questions about mileage, compatibility, and repair cost. Both realities can exist at the same time. A policy can have a larger national objective, while consumers can still need cleaner information about how that policy affects them personally. So, what should a vehicle owner take away from this interview? 4 things. There is a real technical discussion around mileage on ethanol, but every vehicle problem should not automatically be attributed to E20 without diagnosis. A genuine complaint should be formally registered with an authorized dealer and supported by a technical inspection. And every vehicle owner should check the model year, fuel compatibility, warranty, conditions, and manufacturer guidance for their own vehicle. This interview was not meant to deliver a verdict for or against ethanol. This interview was done because the public had questions, and those questions needed to be put directly to one of the most prominent advocates of alternate fuels in India. Perhaps that is why this 30-minute technical interview traveled so widely. People were not looking only for opinions, they were looking for answers, and the next stage of this debate should now move beyond viral claims. It should be about data, registered complaints, technical testing, manufacturer's response, and clear public information. Because E20 is no longer an abstract policy paper. It is already in the fuel tank of millions of vehicles. And that makes 3 things equally important: asking questions, understanding the answers, and separating evidence from assumptions. Thanks for watching.